Hello, my name is Kim McChristian, and I'm going to spend a few minutes today speaking with you about environmental scanning and how it relates to environmental marketing. Environmental scanning is the search for understanding and opportunity, and with this presentation, I hope you will gain a better understanding of what environmental scanning is, the purpose of it, and the various monitoring and scanning techniques large and small companies utilize. Okay, the definition of environmental scanning is environmental scanning is a process that systematically surveys and interprets relevant data to identify external opportunities and threats. An organization gathers information about the external world, its competitors, and itself. Okay, we're going to start. There are three main purposes for environmental scanning, and the first one is it helps the company learn about market trends, and it does this by research and data, both primary and secondary, that one receives from demographics, technological advances, the politics and legal aspects of business, and the market and the industry, social implications such as social media, and then the economic climate for a particular industry or a new type of product that hits the market. Okay. And moving right along, another very important purpose of environmental scanning is the company needs to learn as much information as is possible about the customer. We want to find out what the customer behavior is and their preferences. We want to learn the specifics about what the customer wants to buy. We want to use a market approach. Okay, and we will find this information out in a variety of ways. One of the more costly ways is to use a focus group or an extensive survey or personal interviews. There are other methods in which marketing executives may actually just get out and walk around, let's say in New York or in any town for that matter, and actually go out and speak with customers, show potential products, and ask, about different products on the market and what types of things they think would be a great fit for their particular needs. Okay, and the third most important purpose of environmental scanning is this information is then used to craft, execute, and monitor a strategic marketing plan. Okay, and there are several environmental scanning and monitoring techniques, but these are the four we're going to concentrate on. They're the four that are used more predominantly in the business realm and for new entrepreneurs. Okay, and those are PEST, the SWOT analysis, the industry analysis, and a competitor analysis. Okay, and I'm going to go over each of these different techniques and give you just a little bit of information about each of them. The first one is an acronym PEST. Okay, the P stands for the political and legal aspects of business. I'm sure before Facebook hit the market, they were double checking with the labor laws and making sure that political stability exists in the global areas that they are currently in or hope to be in the future. Okay, and the E stands for economic growth. And if a company wants to go global, they obviously need to check the exchange rates for the particular area they're planning on going into. As far as the S, that stands for social, and so this would deal with population growth rate. And I also noticed that age distribution is mentioned under that category. I know demographics are often used as a technique, one of the techniques to for the company to get to know the potential target market or customer base. So it's kind of so they this particular technique combines social and the demographics. Okay, and then T stands for technology. With any new product, research and development activity is incredibly important as far as producing an actual product on a product line. We want to use, a lot of the companies now obviously use automation. There are some exceptions to that. And we want to check on technological changes over time. Okay, as for the SWOT analysis, um, this is a method that is commonly used by entrepreneurs and business management. Okay, and there's four main categories. There's strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. On the left-hand side, the strengths and weaknesses, deal with the internal workings of an organization, and the opportunities and threats deal with the external aspects of business. These are more difficult to control, but it's very important for a business to know what the competition is doing. So we all, as a business, we want to capitalize on our strengths, which are our capabilities and resources. We want to try to use those to our greatest advantage. Okay, and then our weaknesses, we want to minimize these as much as we can. And some of those weak areas we could improve upon, and eventually those could lead to future opportunities. Okay, and then as far as your opportunities, those are the investments. And then threats, we want to identify those as our competition and industry changes, to name a few. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just a way for me to try to give you an example of what types of things a business would want to learn about in order to provide a quality product that the customer wants. With all of this, the customer needs to be the center of everything we do with marketing with respect to entrepreneurial ventures. Okay, and obviously one of the main purposes of the SWOT analysis is to gain insight about a company's current situation. If we know where we are currently, then we can make adjustments to get to to add new product lines, or to move our company globally, or to new locations within a state, depending on what the size and scope of our business is. Okay, as for additional information about the strengths and weaknesses, customer feedback and employee information lead a company to learn more about their capabilities and resources. So we can do this by speaking with the customer, a survey, or, we've mentioned focus groups. That's not an exhaustive list, but those are some of the ways we can find out a little bit more about what the customer is needing or wanting. And employee information, that will help us to improve upon our capabilities as a business. If we can produce a product in half the time, then we have a better opportunity to serve our customer and to increase our bottom line. Okay, internal information is beneficial in helping a company set goals and objectives, and once again, to craft and execute and evaluate marketing strategies. Okay, and then the external information. A lot of the information we will look at, or the company will look at, is the secondary data sources. And this gives a company valuable insight about what's happening outside of the company. Like I mentioned previously, a company is not able to control a lot of the external environment, but they can impact it. Obviously, the larger the company, a lot of times there's more of an impact. But that's not necessarily true with our technological age of the internet, Okay, and then industry and competitive information is used to identify possible threats and opportunities. Okay. Okay, and as for industry analysis and competitor analysis, don't know why I'm having trouble saying competitor, by reviewing Fortune 500 and the Fortune 500 listings and the Inc. listings or ratings, social media, trade publications, and financial reports, a company can gain insight as to the environmental, what's going on in the environment. Okay, and one of the main reasons we will go through the trouble and the expense of, in the environmental scanning process is to collect information, both primary and secondary, to lead us to the strategic planning. We want to be able to plan a marketing strategy that fits with our particular target market. So we need to make sure that we have the correct and most up-to-date information in order to do that. And this is an example of, of how it works. We have an environmental scan. This is an ongoing process, and businesses continue to do this daily, or it should be daily, to determine the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then they want to see where we're at, to see where we're going to go, and then make a plan accordingly. Okay, some companies are great at gathering data and information, and then they fail to use it. Well, obviously that's not going to do a lot of good for the company. If we gather great data and no one looks at it, or it sits on the shelf, then obviously that's not helping the company or the customer for that matter. Okay, and here are a few companies, and I want you to take a second and look at it, at these particular companies, and what do you think these companies have in common? Okay. Well, all of these companies, I would venture to say, have a great environmental scanning organ. They do this on a daily basis. They use their data management properly, and they use the technology to monitor the competition and what's going on in the marketplace very well. Okay, so they use environmental scanning in a great way that's productive. These companies are very customer focused. They constantly innovate. They're technologically centered, and they are known for their excellent advertising and social media campaigns. Okay, to sum it all up, the purpose of environmental scanning is to help a company learn about market trends, learn about customer behavior and preferences, and to use this information to craft a strategic marketing plan, and then to monitor that plan over time as well. Okay, and some of the techniques that that were discussed were PEST, the SWOT analysis, industry analysis, and competitor analysis. Okay, and that's basically it. If you have any questions, feel free to post those on D2L. Thank you.